What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday. Today we're going to go over some of these recent reveals. They've been exciting for some, less exciting for others, but we got some stuff from Takara, from Wonder Con, I believe, which was an MP Arcee is coming, as well as a Devastator, which we won't really be addressing. We'll kind of discuss it and acknowledge it and move on. And Tigatron is coming as well, and that's MP50, and we'll kind of get into that. Also, Fans Toys dropped a little bit of a teaser recently, so we're going to discuss that as well. I just kind of feel like there's enough here, and it's from the two kind of companies that people really care about, that there was enough here to kind of take a minute, talk about these. I didn't have time to do it for Teasers of Court, so take a time out to do this and get it done for you guys. We're going to be doing something similar as a heads up next week, probably regarding the Toy Fair stuff, unless I get time to do something ahead of time, which I'm not sure I will. Also, after that, we're going to have Seeker Week. We're going to be looking at some Seekers. We're going to be comparing some Seekers. That's coming. It should be a good time if you're into that sort of a thing. Let's do some house cleaning for the week. Last week's video, people seem to respect for the most part, which is cool. Look, I'm not here to get into any of the conspiracy elements of it. That's not my bag. It's like there's plenty of places to go for that sort of stuff. My thing is just take care of yourselves, be on the lookout for this and not that, etc., etc. Wash your hands. You know, that's what I care about. I don't care about anything else in regards to any of that. That's not really my bag. I've got other things that I've got to get done before worrying. I have things I have to worry about inside my house, okay? So as opposed to just like looking in and am I being told the truth from this and that, I'm not doing any of that. That's not my bag. That's not why I'm here. Let's keep it moving. The Onslaught video. It's interesting. Gonna be a topic of conversation at some point, I can already tell, but some people like the way it looks, some people don't. That's fair. That's aesthetics. That's subjective. That's up to personal taste and preference and all those sorts of things. I get it. What I don't get is this scale thing. For instance, someone in the comments said, well, you're saying he's too big, but isn't the Motormaster from Fans Toys too big? And it's like, well, yeah, but at least the Motormaster scales with the Stunticons fairly well. Like, the Combaticons for this MMC set are scaled one way, and the Onslaught is scaled a different way, and then the Combine Mode seems to be scaled a different way. I'm just saying, let's acknowledge it. I'm just saying, let's be consistent. If we're going to have these criticisms, let's be consistent or change the way that we criticize, which is fine too. We can take that dog that we walked down the block and we screamed and hooted and hollered on every forum, and we can take that dog back inside. It's raining outside. It's very cold. Bring the dog back in. It's time now. Yeah, come on. I'm not really good at whistling. Look, let's just keep it honest and keep it fair across all boundaries. If it's too big here, then it's got to be too big here. Or maybe this has changed the way that you see it and now you're okay with all of it, which is fine. But one company can't get a pass for being more inconsistent than another. That's crazy. The MMC one is bothersome to me in that regard, and it looks like the Brawn's gonna be even bigger. Like, it's just like, I don't get it. Love elements about it, don't get me wrong. Probably the most fun I've had transforming a figure in some time. It's still a problem scale-wise. It's all over the place, and we just need to acknowledge it. Even if we acknowledge it and say, but I don't care, scale's not a thing I care about. Perfect! That's consistent, but let's be real, and let's be fair, and let's be consistent. Okay, the Ravage, look, I really do mean what I say in that video. Like, and some people are like, it's not G1 enough, like it's not supposed to be G1, dude. Look, if you have the MMC Megatron, it's a really great upgrade set. As an individual purchase, I'm not sure it does it. I really can't say anything more. Like, that's really honestly how I feel about that. And I feel like I emptied the magazine on it. Like, I got nothing left to say. Oh, we looked at the Flames Toys Prime. I think we need to have a discussion. There's some valid points in there about concerns with price and all that. Look, I get it. I think we need to have another discussion about the non-transforming figures since we're getting more of them. Talk about price, talk about value, talk about quality, and all those sorts of things. I think that discussion needs to happen. There's too many now. The Banana Force, Flames Toys, obviously, the 3A, some of these other new ones are coming out and about. I think it's time. It's time to readdress that. And to be fair with this RC stuff, it's also time to do another Takara Evolution discussion. And that's in the pipeline as well. And I think that's all. Let's go ahead and take a look at these reveals. So let's get down into it. The first image I saw is probably the first one that most people saw, which is this kind of display case from a distance. And at first I was like, oh my God, they're doing Blur and RC and Springer and like they're coming out swinging. And then more pictures started to surface, especially with marketing information with a strong emphasis on RC, which led me to believe that I probably wasn't seeing it clearly. And to be fair, I might not have been putting forth my full effort into really looking at the picture. Just sort of those take it as you see it kind of moments. And then we started getting the close-up images. Let's get the alt mode out of the way first. I believe that would just be simplest. I think it looks great. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like it rolled right off of the screen and onto your shelf.
I think they did a fantastic job with the alt mode. It's perfect, I think, arguably. And the good news is there's a fair chance the transformation may be as well. At least I hope so, because I'm not crazy about the bot mode. And look, I don't want to be the person that's always a bummer on this stuff, but it just doesn't look that great to me, and it comes down to proportions. I think the bottom half looks fantastic. The pelvis, although it does seem a little skimpy for what Arcee is, it doesn't bother me. The thighs, lower legs, all of that seems spot on. The arms, generally in shape, seem right. The head sculpt is kind of okay. I do feel like it's a little angly, like it looks more like an alien head than it does like the Arcee head that I remember from the show, where she had a little bit more of a chin and not so much like a needle at the bottom of her lips. But I think it's presentable, you know, and I think the helmet sculpt looks good. The waist looks okay, but let's talk about the things that don't look right. And let's just be honest. For one, her hands. She's got big hands, Mac. And I'm being nitpicky, and it wouldn't bother me if that was the only thing that I feel like is off with this thing. But I feel like if you were to shake this lady's hand, like on a first date, you would feel emasculated. You would probably wonder if she'd been working outside her whole life, what kind of upbringing she had. I would assume she knows her way around a shovel. I would assume that she can probably arm wrestle a little bit. I would probably want to wear gloves with my hand because her hands might be so rough due to the size of these fingers. It would just make me think that maybe they could feel like sandpaper, that I would probably want to use a couple precautionary measures just to protect myself. You know what I mean? Preserve my skin. It's like she's got Italian sausage. This is probably how you guys see my fingers on screen. It's like she's got Italian sausages hanging off of the meaty palms on her wrist. Anyway, but to me, that's not even the biggest issue here. There are two others that I find slightly worrisome. One, if we look at the side profile, it does seem like she might have a little bit more than what we're used to tucked up in the backpack. Now, the backpack is kind of always going to have to perform that task for Arcee. I feel like everybody's done it the same way in that regard. It's going to have to house some of the components of the vehicle. But some of these pictures, it just looks like a cosplay of General Grievous or something, where like the man is behind the cape and he's kind of puppeteering the body forward. Once again, wouldn't be a big deal to me if everything else was right. But aside from the meaty sausage hands and the puppeteer that's hiding in her backpack, my biggest issue is with the proportions of the chest. Now let's shoot some bail real quick. Let's play devil's advocate and say that maybe, just maybe, this is mistransformed, that this is not how it's intended to be, that the chest should sit up higher and that somebody made a mistake. Cool. Perfect. That's beautiful news, and I think you can forgive the rest if that's the case. But going off of these pictures, it doesn't look right. It throws the proportions entirely off. If you look at other images of her from the animated series or cartoon movie, it's just too far left, and it is an eyesore. It makes the whole thing look less. Now, you combine that with what, in my opinion, is a weaker quality control and also quality of build and materials that we've been seeing recently out of a lot of their Vietnam production, and I'm just not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with this piece, neither in presentation nor in quality of build. And it's a bummer because it would have been nice to see, and I don't have an Arcee that I feel comfortable transforming, so I definitely would have considered picking one up, but I'm not buying this, not as it looks. Nope. Guess I'll be borrowing another one. Moving on. We also got MP50, which is their Tigatron, and I think this looks amazing. It definitely looks like it's paying homage to the character from the screen, who I don't know much about. I've seen the show, but I don't care much about it. But I think it looks just like it. I think the sculpt looks great. I think the paint looks great in regards to that. I'm a little bummed that it's MP50 because it's just like MP50, it feels like it should be a big release. Now, shout out to Gort, co-host of The Force Sensitive. He made a comment that maybe those types of numbers don't have the same cultural significance in Japan that they do here. And maybe, but you know, so that's my answer to that. Like, it's MP50. It should have been something, I feel like, special. I don't even feel like this is special for Beast Wars. I feel like a better choice would have been Rhinox or Waspinator or one of those kind of larger gaps that's missing in that collection for those folks. But that being said, it is what it is. That's what it's going to be. I do think it looks great. But truthfully, man, I just don't care. And I know people do, you know, and I think, don't get me wrong, like, I'm super happy for those folks. Like, don't be confused. I'm very happy for those folks. I'm not hating on them. I don't want the car to stop making them. But saying that this Tigatron is MP50 to me that's a big deal. That's a flagship statement. There's more to that than just saying it. And the G1 folks might have to take a step back for a second and look at that. I just don't care about it. It would be like if you told me a little league team in Northern Nevada just won their game. Good for them, I guess. Unless they didn't want to win, in which case, I don't care about any of it. And we also got a Studio Series Devastator, which looks just as absurd as it looked on screen. If you like it, you win. Cool, I'm done with that. Let's move on. Then we got this Fans Toys release with a look at their updated Tesla, their Huffer, the tapes, and Soundwave, all of them wearing or donning or attempting to wear face masks, making a bit of a joke or having some fun at the situation that's going on over there. Look, I think all of this looks great. I have to be completely honest in saying that I'm less excited with this stuff just because like I'm happy with all the representations that I have of these characters. Doesn't mean I won't be picking them up. I will be. I'm a Fans Toys collector. I'll get every G1 thing that they make. It's just a bummer that I still feel like there are these super like glaring holes in that collection that I would much rather have occupied than some of this stuff. But that's not a knock on this stuff. It just has to do with my general excitement level regarding all of it. It's not necessarily an issue per se regarding these specific choices, just, doesn't do much to kind of keep my gas tank full, as it were. So yeah, I'm in for all this stuff. Soundwave is one of those characters that I love enough anyway to kind of display separately somewhere. I do love the joke that Fans Toys is making here. It's good to see folks having a little bit of fun. And, I'm a firm believer in smiling when the odds are stacked against you. Like it does wonders for your psyche. So I'm digging the whole attitude, the whole vibe. Just not crazy about the choices. As for the MP stuff, it's kind of the opposite. Like, I think the choices are good enough choices. It's just, I don't like the way they look. I mean, I think that the Tigatron looks right. It just looks wrong because it looks right. And then I think that the RC doesn't look good. And I have no faith that it'll be built well either. So what do you want from me?
So yeah, there's some interesting stuff coming. And look, I think that RC, honestly, like, if you like to flip your stuff back and forth, like, I think it's better than this one out here. I had so much paint, I had to scrape out with a scalpel clunks of paint inside my hips for my Fans Toys RC. It's not a great toy. It's a great display piece, but it's not a great toy. There's a good chance that this Takara one could be. There's also a chance these days that it won't be because of QC issues, but that's something else entirely. However, I do expect it to perform better in that regard than the Fans Toys one in regards to flipping it back and forth, playing with it, that sort of thing. So there is hope there. There is merit there with that RC. I'm just on it. The sculpt doesn't do enough for me to kind of really grab my attention. Tigatron looks great though. You Beast Wars fans, count your lucky stars and appreciate it while it's here, because Armada's going to be coming for you in no time. And Fans Toy stuff looks great. It's just, once again, it's not very exciting to me. Where's that Defensor? Somebody give me that Defensor, give me that Predaking, give me that Abominus, give me Runabout and Run Amok. We'll see. Maybe one day. All right, you guys have a good week. Stay safe. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.